Well, thank you for that very exciting forecast.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting Easter mixed up with the time change right now. My goodness.
See, you might just be seeing things, Devin.
I must be seeing things like this background behind us.
Right, that's the only thing that you're seeing that's out of the ordinary today,
Well,
certainly.
That and other stuff I'm sure viewers can obviously
There
see.
we go. So Halloween is here, and we're feeling the spooky spirit here in the studio now that Devin has admitted to it. But for today's
Am I supposed to admit it?
Hey, I'm happy you did. Yeah, I'm happy you noticed I did something with my hair.
Yeah.
So we're asking today, what is the worst weather for trick-or-treating? And you seem like the guy to ask, Devin.
Yeah, today, basically. And last year, too, I guess, when you have foul weather, whether it's precipitation of any kind, and cool temperatures as well, because these kids want to show off their costumes. So I wouldn't disagree. Maybe some cool weather's not terrible, but we don't want cold weather. They have to throw the coats on and they have to hide their costume, basically. And then the precipitation, then you have to basically a raincoat or something to stay dry, umbrella. It can get tricky.
Yeah, it does. I remember growing up always having to wear a jacket over my costume, and I was like, what's the point?
Yeah, I know. It was bad growing up sometimes, a lot of times. It felt like I had a terrible jacket. It was a big puffy Packers jacket, so it was awful. Like and like every Halloween it would get cold and snowy, so I'd end up wearing it over my costume going trick or treating on Kings Road.
Makes me think of what was that Christmas Story? I can't put my arms down.
Yeah,
it felt Halloween.
It felt like that. I did not like that jacket. Maybe that's why I have a dislike of puffy jackets now.
Did you ever have to wear the jacket under the costume so you could show off your costume? I've done that a couple times, and it just looked ridiculous.
Like that. I know when I was in marching band, obviously you got to wear kind of the some more layers underneath your uniform too, on top of the wool uniform to keep warm.
Yeah.
And when I was in alumni band, we had our polo, and I just wore an undershirt to keep warm in those colder years.
Yeah, I just looked like a really buff 6-year-old with the jacket. It was very interesting.
Hey, show off those muscles, right?
Exactly. But no, so you don't want it too cold. You definitely don't want it raining.
You don't want it snowing.
You don't want it snowing.
Yeah.
But I do remember in college too, going out and about, it felt like you'd be going out in the evening, because as opposed to trick-or-treating, you'd be going out to like go Halloween parties and stuff. And it was just so cold every time, it felt like.
Right. Well, and you can't bring a jacket because what are you going to do with it?
Exactly. That's the problem with going out and about to sort of these like events in the community. No coat check, and I just don't feel comfortable enough leaving my jacket anywhere.
And I don't want to hold it. That's too much work.
Exactly.
It's literally a case of breathe hard through it.
Honestly, that's one thing I'd really like to see come back: coat checks. If people had coat checks places, I think it'd be fantastic. I remember going out in Germany when I was living there. Every bar or club had a coat check, and they'd even give you a ticket. Free.
I think athletic events, don't they still have them? I know when I was younger, I would go to the high school games back home and they had a coat check or something like that.
Your high school's fancy.
Very fancy high school. That was not what we were dealing with over in Tomahawk.
Not in Rhinelander for sure.
They're like tough it out. I mean, churches, of course, my church has those little coat racks too when you show up for church.
A lot of stuff to be excited about there, Devin. But we're going to move right along this morning because we got a lot more coming up. Because coming up, we're going to be talking about trick-or-treating festivities going on in the area today, primarily for the kiddos.
Yes.
Exciting. But first, Howard is in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for candy bar cheesecake. Ooh, that sounds